Down Under, the show that sends a British family on a once-in-a-lifetime experience to test drive life on the other side of the world. At first glance, the Turners from Leicestershire have it all: an enviable house and healthy outdoor lifestyle.
Well, we've not done bad for ourselves, but equally, are we 100% happy with life as it is at the moment? Well, the answer is no, we're not. But we can't uproot the children and ourselves and give up what we've got here until we know what's out there.
Could New Zealand provide them their dream lifestyle?
Yeah, having a harbour like this, just looking at the whole setting, absolutely fantastic. You know, obviously experiences like this make the whole country a lot more appealing.
And would Jean be too hard to please?
We're not going to buy this house, doesn't matter what the rest of the house is like.
Typically, you want it all, don't you?
I just know what I like. Nothing wrong with that.
But everything rests on vet Matthew making ends meet.
If I can't make a living, then there's no option of coming out here. So now it's crunch time, D-Day.
If you're under 55 and have a skill that's in demand, you could be fast-tracked to a new start down under in New Zealand. Last year, more than 30 families a day took advantage of new immigration rules, but most of them had never even been to the country before. We put 15 British families to the ultimate test by giving them the chance to try out their dream life down under. They'll have just 1 week to find out all that they can about homes, work and lifestyle before voting for their future. Stay in the UK or move to New Zealand. Matthew and Jean Turner have 2 children, 9-year-old Joshua and 7-year-old Charlotte. They live in a large 4-bedroom detached house in an affluent Leicestershire village. If the family moved, they would have a lot to lose. The whole family have an active lifestyle and need to be sure they'd have enough spare time to enjoy the New Zealand outdoors.
We've not done bad for ourselves, but equally, are we 100% happy with life as it is at the moment? Well, the answer is no, we're not. We don't spend the time with the children the way we want to spend it. Now, that's what we're hoping in New Zealand, I think, isn't it?
Now, particularly as they're getting older, Joshua's playing football every weekend, there's parties they want to go to, and then obviously there's things that we want to do with them. We'd quite like to go, well, I'd quite like to take them out sailing.
Matthew is a partner in a busy vet's practice. He's well paid but has to spend long hours visiting clients.
What I don't like is the day-to-day pressure. It's fairly relentless, day in, day out, and it obviously after a while starts to get you down a little bit, doesn't leave you time to do things the way you want to do them. With the way things are at the moment, it is hard to fit all of that in.
Jean is a keen gardener and thinks New Zealand could give her more space to cultivate her passion.
Land is a big important thing for us, really, and I suppose that's one of those things out there that New Zealand hopefully can offer for us. I can utilise, you know, the vegetable patch a bit more and everything else, because at the moment I've got an allotment sort of 3 miles down the road, which with the best will in the world, it works okay, but it'd be a lot better if it was attached to my house.
For a healthy garden, they're going to need good weather.
It's one thing having rain for a few days, but if it was a continual poor climate, then, well, you'd be on the next plane back home, wouldn't you?
But the million-dollar question is, could they make ends meet?
My biggest worry is that when we get out there, we really like what we see, but we couldn't actually physically afford to live there. So we couldn't feed the family, we couldn't give the children what they wanted to have. It would be sort of pointless, really. We can't uproot the children and ourselves and give up what we've got here until we know what's out there.
We gave the Turners 1 week down under to help them make their big decision. They had 3 New Zealand lifestyles to choose from: life in the country, in the city, and by the coast. I invited them to meet me at New Zealand House in London to see which lifestyle option they went for and how they got on. So, Turner family, welcome to New Zealand House. Whose idea was it first?
It's more of a joint decision, isn't it? I don't think
Yeah, we didn't have a definite idea behind it. We just felt that lifestyle was something that was getting more important as the children came along. We wanted to spend more family time, wasn't it?
Had you been to New Zealand before?
No. See it on the television and think that looks nice. You know, with only 4 million people on an island of that size, you sort of think you have all those spaces to yourself, really.
OK, we gave you 3 lifestyle options with jobs attached to choose from. And first of all, we're going to look at the country option.
Thank you.
Option 1 is the rural area south of Auckland, famous for its vineyards and providing a relaxing, hassle-free lifestyle. With this option, you'd be working at the equine and farm veterinary practice on a salary of about £30,000. Ivan Bridge is the senior vet there.
I'm inviting you and your family to come down here and enjoy sunny New Zealand. We encourage people to further their interests and continuing education.
If you pick this option, you could live in Papakura, a 45-minute drive from Auckland, where the average house price is around £220,000.
Come on, join us out here in the country, Matthew. You'll enjoy working here.
So, what do you think of that one, Matthew?
Look good. Yeah, nice area. Seemed a nice chap.
Nice houses.
Nice houses.
Yeah. They look lovely.
So the country lifestyle is something that you can picture for yourselves?
Definitely.
It's very, I suppose, very similar to what we're used to, perhaps, isn't it?
Yes.
It's similar to what, you know, the job I've got at home, so it would be something we'd be familiar with.
OK, let's have a look at the city option next. Option 2 is Auckland City itself, with a diverse culture and busy nightlife. You could afford a property in Mount Eden, where an average 3-bedroom house will set you back about £250,000. With this option, you could work for an agency earning up to £400 a day. New Zealand's biggest vet agency is run by Patty Carroll.
At the moment, there is a desperate shortage of vets, and it would be great to be able to try and assist you or any other veterinary surgeons who would be looking to work in New Zealand. Auckland has a lot to offer, and I think you would enjoy the opportunity of living in New Zealand.
Wow, it sounded like she wanted you to come and bring all your vet mates, didn't she?
Charter a plane and come on down.
What do you think of that then, city life?
I think a job like that is perhaps something you would do for a short period of time. Possibly if you did move out there, it might be something you'd consider doing whilst you checked out the rest of the country for a more permanent option.
And what about you, Jean?
The city life's not for me. I love to come into the city and enjoy it from time to time, but actually live amongst it, it would drive me mad.
OK, well, I think it's time to take a trip to the sea. Option 3 is Auckland's coastal region, with its breathtaking landscapes and clean beaches. Pet and Vet is a small animal practice on Auckland's north coast.
All good.
Here, your salary would be £30,000, working for owner Simon.
And Matthew, this is the pre-op room, and you can see here some of my lovely staff.
If you pick this option, you could afford a home like this 3-bedroom property at £300,000, walking distance from cafes, restaurants, and of course, the beach.
Hopefully we'll see you and your family here with the small animals and the coast and the beaches and the sailing and the fishing. Bye.
How did that seem?
Looked a lovely area, didn't it?
Beautiful.
But I think I may have seen a cat on that picture. And me and cats don't
Oh,
get on very
really?
well, yes.
I thought vets loved all animals.
Oh, absolutely, obviously, but not cats. I haven't worked with small animals very much, you know, for the last few years, so it would be a bit of a departure from what I'm used to.
And what about living so near to the sea?
The coast would be a nice place to live, but it would come down to, you know, Matthew finding a job that he wanted.
We tempted the Turners with a possible new life in the countryside of Papakura, the busy city of Auckland and on the beautiful coast. But which did they choose? So I'm guessing from what you said now that you chose the country, am I right?
We did, yes. It was more the type of situation that I'm used to over here. I chose to work with horses over in this country, so, you know, I don't see I would change my viewpoint moving to New Zealand.
And Jean, why the country for you?
The coast is not that far away from anywhere in New Zealand,
Yes.
so that seemed to be the best of both worlds and a little bit more of what we already know.
Well, let's have a look and see how you got on. The Turners went for the country option and first fly into Auckland. No surprises about how they're feeling.
Tired. 24 hours on a plane, I can recommend it to everyone. First time in New Zealand, obviously, so it's just excited at the moment, aren't we? We're glad to be here after a fairly long trek.
Until we've actually done the flight over, you didn't appreciate how long 24 hours to actually be on an aeroplane.
But they've been doing their research and have read that many workers are actually leaving New Zealand. It's giving them doubts.
Yeah, at the moment I think we're very much 50-50. Having gone from a fairly positive start, it has dropped a little bit now with one or two worries creeping in. And if those worries prove to be founded, then it probably isn't going to be a goer for us. But if we're wrong and we've read things that are biased and not necessarily the accurate report, then it maybe still could be a possibility.
Well, now's their chance to try and allay their fears. The rental house is in a country area called Huia, about 45 minutes south of Auckland. But this is no modest rural property. They're met by owner Eric.
Hello, you
Hello.
must be Eric, I
Keen, is it?
assume. Look at that.
It's a good view, isn't it?
It certainly is.
Oh, it gets nicer the higher you go.
Does it? It certainly goes way up, doesn't it? Look at that.
Eric takes them to have a look inside.
Carpet.
The stunning house has 5 luxury bedrooms and a vast kitchen living area, all taking advantage of its commanding position. And they love it.
Oh, wow.
That's
Look at
fantastic.
that.
Now that's
That's-
what you call a sea view.
That is definitely a sea view. Good grief.
Well, if I can just drag you away from the view for a bit, I'll just show you the kitchen through this way.
Yeah.
Wow, I missed that when I walked in. I was so busy looking at the view. No, we've got this for more than a week. I'm not leaving.
And you've got another little deck out there with barbecue, and that catches the morning sun quite
It
nicely.
does it?
Yeah.
But it's even more impressive upstairs.
Look at that.
Oh, look
That's
at
a
that.
bedroom and a bit, that, isn't it? Here's a view. It's absolutely amazing, isn't it?
The other way around. Well, I won't bother looking at jobs and things. We'll just stay here now. This'll do me for a week.
Back in Leicestershire, the Turners live comfortably in a 4-bedroom detached house worth about £500,000. Jean loves her greenhouse and garden and hopes a rural New Zealand property would have more land for her to cultivate. So we've lined up 3 different potential homes for them to view in the countryside south of Auckland. The first is a 45-minute drive to hilly, wooded Clevedon.
Hi, nice to meet you.
I'm Rod, would you like to come to my home?
Yeah, let's have a look around.
Hello, Charlotte. See what there is?
The house is for sale at £385,000 and includes 3 paddocks, a total of 10 acres of land for Jean to nurture. The main house was built of wooden weatherboard in the late 1800s. It has 3 modest bedrooms, but comes with extra accommodation for those UK visitors.
That's a nice big decky. Look at that. So how
Tree
much of
fern
this
in the garden?
comes with the house then? Where does it sort of stop?
The boundary would be, if you can see the panga at the top up here, that would be the boundary there.
All right.
And then the boundary runs straight up to where the pines are at the top
All right.
Oh,
and
wow.
runs back down to the road.
Yeah, you got your own forest in the garden.
Do the chickens come with the house then?
They certainly do, and they lay beautiful eggs.
Love to.
That's breakfast sorted then. And here's where you cook the eggs. The kitchen connects with wooden flooring throughout to the open plan lounge. Charlotte and Josh are more interested in the cat.
That cat's name is Mouse, and she's actually deaf and blind.
All right.
Yeah. And she's 16,
Yeah.
and I've been on the property coming up 18 years. We moved this house on 3 years ago.
You moved the house. Didn't it come here? Didn't you build it here?
No, this house wasn't built here. This house was relocated. It came about 20 miles down the road.
How do you move a house?
How did you get it up the drive?
They're very clever. They're very clever.
Now that's what I call moving house.
We got there
Okay,
then.
this bedroom here is Helen's bedroom. It is the blue room.
Ah,
My favourite colour.
Yeah.
that's good.
Good view from the window there, isn't it?
Look at that paddock. If we put a football pitch in there, you could have your own very own view of a football pitch. Couldn't you?
I wonder what colour Mum and Dad's room will be.
This is the main room, the grey room.
Look at that, 3 windows. We get to see the paddock as well, don't we? Or the football pitch, or the pony paddock, or whatever. It's not a bad size either, really.
No.
I'd have to just cut down on my clothes, I think.
So what do Jean and Matthew think of the £385,000 price tag?
The first impression is that, obviously, for the price, you get a lot of land with it. The house, I'm not overly struck with, but the land, the setting, the location, I think is good.
Yeah, I think it's one of those places that you could actually make into something that suits your lifestyle. You know, it's got a huge amount of potential because it's in the right place to begin with. The only aspect is whether we could actually be allowed to do what we'd actually want to do with it to make it a family home. The next property, I hope, has got a bit more space inside, more family space, more living area space, and that's where this place doesn't have at the moment. So fingers crossed the next one does.
More space? We'll see what we can do. Property 2 overlooks southern Auckland from near where they're staying in Papakura.
Hi there.
It's much more modern and on the market for £410,000. There's a spacious kitchen dining area, 4 large bedrooms and a spa bath. Owner Ken shows them round.
Oh, what a lovely view. Look at that.
That's what we call a picture window.
Yeah.
That's definitely a picture window, isn't it?
So, no water, so you just sit there and look at the view.
You also like gardening as well.
My wife
Very
does.
mature shrubs and things out there.
My wife does.
Does she? She does all the hard work, does she?
Yes, yes.
I'm a gardener in our family, so I tend to sort of, you know, nice shrubs and whatever else. I actually like to grow my own vegetables as well.
Oh, most things grow here,
Yeah.
you know, and
So, climate seems pretty good at the moment for growing things.
it does, yeah,
Yeah.
you know.
Well, Jean will have to wait for the garden until after the rest of Ken's tour.
Right, let me show you the kitchen. Heaps of cupboards,
Very neat covers as well compared to mine.
pantries, with, you know,
That's a nice idea.
food. And
Yeah.
then through to here is the first bedroom.
This is going to be yours,
This
is
is going to
it?
be Joshua's
You
apparently.
decided already, have you?
Ah, big walk-in wardrobes, big wardrobes,
Yes.
hide and seek wardrobes. Look at all that space.
Yeah.
I can't believe how neat everywhere is.
Yeah.
I'd die if anybody goes in my cupboards. It all falls out. You have to
Yeah.
push it back in.
Don't open the door. Take us
It's
out.
nice though. It's a good size though. It's got a double bed in it.
Got plenty of space around.
Because it's single-storey, it seems small, but looks can be deceiving.
This house, it's like a TARDIS. It's a lot bigger on the inside than it looks on the outside. It seems to go on forever.
It does, yeah.
Room after room after room.
We haven't finished yet.
Is the garden up to Jean's standard?
I mean, it's beautiful, isn't it? It just seems very strange to see the type of plants that you're growing. It fascinates me.
Okay, well, we've got the land.
Land!
Jean's got big ideas for how they could use the extra land.
Wow, look
Parsley.
at this.
This is the football field then?
The allotment. So how far does it go? All the way down there? Follows that line.
It goes a long way down.
Wow, they could own a whole New Zealand hillside with this property. Back home, you'd probably pay £1 million for this location. Here, it's £410,000.
So how does that compare to what you buy in England for?
Very favourably, I think would be the word.
Extremely
Yeah, you would
favourably
pay an
valued.
awful lot more.
So, what do they think?
I could see myself living here, whereas I couldn't see myself living where we were yesterday.
The only thing from my point of view, though, that lets it down, in a wonderful world, I'd turn it around and I'd look out at my paddock and have all that to look out on. I like the idea of the views, and the views are fantastic, but I don't like the first part of the views, the built-up land, the industries that you sort of see on the outskirts of Auckland.
Typically, you want it all.
I am.
No
I'm very,
compromise.
there
with you,
isn't
is there?
too much of a compromise, because I just know what I like. Nothing wrong with that.
Good for Jean. Let's hope she likes property 3. With a mortgage, the Turners could stretch to this huge £690,000 house in Karaka, 30 minutes south of Auckland.
Interesting from the outside, isn't it?
It is.
It has 6 bedrooms, 3 bathrooms, a pool for the kids, and overlooks a lake at the bottom of the garden. Owner Linda showed them round.
Hello. Yeah.
Matthew. Hi there.
Wow, that's an entrance, isn't it? Look
Yeah.
at that.
Ooh.
Your very own lake.
Yeah.
What do you think of this then, Joshua? Good? Look out there then.
I like this window, you know. Can see the view.
Yes, it's a
Yeah.
lovely view.
Yeah.
So, first impressions?
It's fantastic. It's really nice to look out there onto the lake and everything. Nice open view. It's a very light house,
light
very
area
light
house,
and
isn't it?
airy
Yeah.
house, which is quite appealing. Seems to be windows sort of everywhere and big high ceilings and galleried landings. So it's a very nice house, actually, isn't it?
It is, yeah.
Very pretty.
As you would expect, I suppose, that
the
that
price, it's-
sort of price range of property, you'd be
it's
looking
up
for
for,
something
really.
pretty special, and
Something extra
I
to
guess
it,
it is,
isn't it?
yeah.
The bedrooms are something special, with high ceilings and interesting details like stained glass.
That's a posh window, isn't it?
Yeah.
Stained glass window. It's like sails, isn't it? You like that, Charlotte?
Upstairs is even more spacious, with something just for the kids.
Look at this.
Upstairs, like the big rumpus.
The what room?
A rumpus room.
Rumpus room.
Yeah.
Whoa!
They don't.
A big playroom.
Yes.
Look at all that
Fair old
space.
size, isn't it? Big enough for you
Now
two
go
to
back
have a
and do
good
it all
time.
again.
Time to see outside, because the property's high price is largely due to its setting.
Oh, wonderful! Look at this.
My mom.
Your own
Nice
pool.
long pool.
Yeah, around here, 3 meters.
3 metres? Goodness me.
Yeah.
That is deep.
Yeah.
The pool and the lake add a lot to the asking price. But is it good value? And more importantly, does Jean like it?
Personally, I just think it's a lot of money for what it is.
Yeah. It might be the most expensive, but I think of the 3 we've seen, this would be number 3.
Yeah, right, definitely.
Oh dear.
I liked it.
Did you?
What makes you like the house?
And the pool.
Pool.
The pool.
If you lived here and were this close to the sea, would you want a pool anyway? If you wanted to swim, you go to the beach. Still want a pool. Mm.
Yeah.
Yes, typical woman in this house knows what she wants and ignores everybody else.
Nothing wrong with that. Woman needs to know what she wants out of life. And I don't think it's this house.
Well, there's something we're agreed on then.
They loved the country location of property 1 and really wanted to move property 2 there because it was more spacious. The final property seemed overpriced and their favourite is actually their rented property, so it'll be interesting to see their overall vote.
We're going to count to 3 and we're going to vote for which property we prefer, whether it be the UK property or the properties in New Zealand. So I'm going to count to 3 and we're going to vote. So 1, 2, 3. New Zealand!
They may have liked the houses, but Matthew still needs to find the right job. Back home, his skills as an equine vet pay him good money, but also keep him away from his family for long hours. Can he find a less pressurised job here? Matthew's spending a day as a rural vet and is in no doubt how much rests on it.
If I can't work and make a living, then there's no option of coming out here. So now's crunch time, D-Day.
Director Ivan Bridge has been with the practice for 30 years and is keen to meet Matthew.
Yeah. So out here, Matthew, we've got the all the outpatients,
Yeah.
the inpatients, should I say. We've
Yeah.
got 4 boxes,
Right.
6 yards undercover. There's
Yeah.
this little horse here, this little Irish horse from your end of the world.
Right.
He's apparently been making some noise at exercise, so
Okay.
they've dropped him off, and I thought you could put the scope down and tell me what you see.
Yeah, we'll have a go.
So we'll get you some gear and we'll get started.
Excellent.
So it's straight in as Ivan assesses how expertly Matthew examines this horse.
Okay, just if you could advance that through for me a little bit. So he's making a bit of a noise, this chap. Does it slow him up a little bit? Is he performing poorly?
I think they have to, so when they're hunting him, they have to take a bit of a breather up the big hills.
Yeah. To be honest, he looks to have very good abduction there. There's no
Excellent.
no sign of paralysis that I can see. Everything
That's all
else
they want to know.
is pretty normal, so yeah.
Maybe
Give him a clean bill of health.
Excellent. Excellent.
A good start, but a lot of Matthew's time at home is spent on the road, and it's important to see how stressful that would be here. They've had an urgent call for assistance at a stud farm, so equine vets are go. As they set off in Vetmobile 1, Jean and kids are on their own mission to find out what could be grown in the garden. Or should that be jungle?
Looks like our very own rainforest, look. And all of these, it looks like you could just put straight in your garden and off you go. Look at these. They look like fig plants, aren't they? So I'm sort of a keen amateur as opposed to anything else. But sort of coming here, it sort of opens the world a bit more as to what you could potentially grow in New Zealand compared to the UK. I mean, back in the UK, if you put something like this in, you'd be frightened that you were going to lose it with all the frost and everything else, whereas, you look around here and it's just like a totally different world. Look at the height of that. And that one. It's marvellous. You could soon have your own little den, you two could, couldn't you?
Jean is finding New Zealand very child-friendly.
Can we borrow a couple of the barrels for the children?
Certainly, I'll get them
You're very busy, aren't you, today? Is it always this busy?
Always busy.
Is pink your favourite colour then, Roger? Because all the barrels are pink.
Love pink.
Gee, I must admit I do as well.
It's got some pinching on, you know.
Oh, does it? Oh, well, I suppose they'd stand out in your garden, wouldn't they?
Those pink wheelbarrows seem more for playing than gardening.
Who's pushing who? Joshua's pushing you, is he? Try not to damage any of the plants, though.
With the children distracted, Jean's thoughts turn to Matthew.
Just got a lot on his mind, I think. Now the final sort of piece to put together, really, is income and how we're going to live out here. So there's quite a lot riding on today, because if he can't actually, you know, afford for us all to move out here and live the way he wants to live, it's just not going to happen. You know, I could never earn enough out here to make a life for us, so he has to be the breadwinner. If he's going to be stuck in a job or a role he doesn't like, he's not going to be Matthew, he's not going to be after the same sort of person anyway. So, yeah, we're hoping a lot out of today. Both of you get in.
As Lady Penelope and Parker glide off in the pink roller,
hold on tight.
International Rescue has made it to the stud farm. The stallion has fallen and needs immediate attention.
We're going to have a look with the ultrasound machine, which will show us the tendon structure and see if there's any damage to the fibres of the tendon, which, if there is, will be pretty bad news for this horse, really.
There we go.
This is Matthew's chance to prove himself. If he can't work out from the ultrasound picture what's wrong, the horse is in trouble.
At the moment, we've got some very prominent blood vessels running down the inside of the leg here. So I've got an increased blood flow for some reason, but it doesn't appear to be because of tendon damage.
So it's good news for the horse, but what about Matthew?
Well, he's obviously quite comfortable around horses and around animals. He's obviously been involved with them for a long time, and yeah, no, he's very good.
The horse is bandaged and they are on their way to another job. Matthew takes the chance to find out how full on the work really is.
What hours do you work in general?
Daylight till dark, and in the summertime it's daylight about 5:30 and it's dark about 9:30, so it's just daylight till dark, really.
Daylight till dark? That doesn't sound like a cut in hours. And as Matthew would no longer be a senior vet, his pay would drop to about £30,000 a year.
At the moment, I'm sort of worried as to whether I'll be able to keep up a decent lifestyle in New Zealand on that sort of salary. Would I be able to afford a yacht, do you think, out here?
Well, you would probably buy a yacht for a lot less than what some people are paying for their horse trade. So I'm sure you would.
Ivan hopes the lower cost of living will be enough to tempt Matthew.
Oh, it's been excellent. I've enjoyed having Matthew here, and he's obviously got big decisions to make about where he wants to live the rest of his life, but I think he could fit in very well, and I hope he makes the decision to come on down.
Ivan offered Matthew a job as an assistant vet, and it's time to hear straight from the horse's mouth whether he'd accept that.
Guess what I've got here?
No, a flag.
A flag. What's it going to be?
I mean, it's been good here. I think in terms of veterinary work, I could quite easily slot into New Zealand. Horses are remarkably similar here to how they are at home, so I don't think that's going to be a problem. I'm just not convinced about coming back as an assistant. So my vote on working in New Zealand is with the UK.
Oh, no. Daddy's chose the UK. What do we think of that? Rubbish. New Zealand. Is that what you wanted to choose?
I seem to have changed my mind.
They call Auckland the city of sails, and yachting is certainly something Matthew wants to try. And here, where most people live on the coast, many have a boat. We've found out everything you need to know about getting afloat.
Boating is the most popular participation sport in New Zealand, and that leads to a high boat ownership. 1 in 3 households in New Zealand own a boat. It just becomes part of our nature, really. We work hard, and then we love getting out into the outdoors, and boating is a major part of that in this country.
If a big yacht is out of your price range, you could buy a good second-hand motorboat from £4,000 to get you safely on one of the big lakes. You might be hooked, and some enthusiasts even build their own boat. But do you need a licence?
You could build a boat and you could use it tomorrow. There's no registration of boats in New Zealand. There's no requirements to licence it or tell anyone that you've even got it.
Are there any age restrictions?
If you're 15 years or older, then you are licensed to drive a super yacht in New Zealand. But having said that, it's a safe activity and people respect the sea and the lake conditions.
Whether it's a cheap kayak for the kids or a gin palace for mum and dad, our big tip to enjoying New Zealand is just get afloat.
Everyone waves to each other and every boatie suddenly becomes a friend.
The Turners are trying to match their comfortable UK life with a new life in New Zealand.
Look at that.
They found some of the properties impressive.
That is a view.
But Jean has high standards.
We're not going to buy this house, doesn't matter what the rest of the house is like.
Typically you want it all, don't you?
I'm
no
very-
compromise with
There
you,
isn't
is there?
too much of a compromise, because I just know what I like. Nothing wrong with that.
Matthew's day at work proved more stressful than back home.
If anything, the hours here would probably be longer. My vote is going to be with the UK.
No.
Daddy's chose the UK.
Can they agree as a family?
The way I sort of see it now, it's sort of, 60-40 in favour of New Zealand.
No, I still remain to be convinced, and I would still, I think, say 50-50.
Will they be able to live with New Zealand's weather?
Auckland can get pretty depressingly stormy at times.
Yeah.
And you get a lot of flooding.
How will the children feel after hearing from their grandparents?
I know that you all know already how much I love you.
And how will those heartfelt messages affect their final decision?
There's a common misconception that New Zealand's weather is all sunshine. It's time for the Turners to take a reality check and find out whether the climate here can really give them the lifestyle they want.
Because it's surrounded by ocean, New Zealand gets its share of heavy rain. Matthew's taken our advice and got out on the water to find out how the local weather affects one of his great passions, yachting. But in the UK, he only sails a small dinghy.
I think if we did come out here, obviously it's a perfect opportunity to carry on with that and hopefully take it a bit further forward. So this is today, I guess, conditions pretty ideal, would you say, for sailing?
Oh, superb day for sailing today. Lovely breeze.
Yeah.
Reasonably warm.
Is it always like this?
I'd like to say yes. We do have some bad weather. We do get hail, thunder and lightning. New Zealand is very narrow and we're very much affected by the weather conditions that come from down under Australia and sweep up over our country, and that's not very nice. But the weather does change. If you don't like it, wait 15 minutes and it will change again for you.
So, how does the very changeable weather affect everyone else? While Matthew sails, Jean takes the kids to a farmer's market to find out from the growers and locals.
In England, when it rains, or in London, I remember it kind of drizzled for weeks and weeks. In New Zealand, it does a really good torrential. Yeah. You can't be standing outside in it.
And you get a lot of flooding. Clevedon's really well known for its flooding.
Auckland can get pretty depressingly stormy at times.
They always talk about 4 seasons in one day. Yeah. So, it rains and then it's sunny. And
4 seasons in one day.
They found the weather really can change here from torrential rain to glorious sun many times in a day. Very frustrating for gardeners like Jean.
We've been here 23 years and Auckland gets quite wet in the winter. It's a wet winter, not very cold. We rarely have a frost or anything here. But of course as you go further south in the country, it gets colder.
So how cold would it get in the South Island then?
Oh, -9?
-9?
Oh yeah.
Oh, that's cold.
But Christmases are normally quite warm.
Are they?
Yeah.
It would seem very strange having a warm Christmas.
Absolutely, on the beach.
Yes, Christmas here is hot. So how does climate affect the fruit growers?
So New Zealand, I assume it's great for fruit growing then?
Yeah, it is, but Auckland is hard for some of the fruits because it's the humidity and a lot of damp.
We're out west.
Grapes thrive here, so Matthews joins Jean at a vineyard where they insist on finishing their lifestyle research in style. Lucky them.
Nadia, you'd like this one. It's lovely.
Cheers, Jean.
So what is it about the New Zealand weather that makes the wine so ripe?
It's two things really. One of the things is the high ultraviolet light. It gives a lot of flavour, a lot of intensity in flavours. And the other thing is they like rain. They consume a lot of water when they grow. And if you don't have enough water, they really stunt and they don't develop the fruit.
As they digest what they've learnt, Jean and Matthew are wondering if the lifestyle they've experienced so far will suit them.
You know, yes, you could come out here and live in this spectacular place, but not be able to afford the lifestyle that we're perhaps used to back home because salaries are less out here. You know, everyone says cost of living is much less here. And I have to say that has to be proved to us as of yet, doesn't it? From the little bit of shopping and seeing things we've seen, you know, it does seem that things are similarly priced.
The way I sort of see it now, it's sort of, you know, 60-40 in favour of New Zealand, because the lifestyle we could have here based on the property and the possible land and lifestyle we have associated with it would be beautiful. But my biggest concern is that we couldn't actually afford to do that over here, because obviously if we haven't got the same sort of income coming in, then we can't live the same sort of lifestyle that we want to live.
You know, I still remain to be convinced that that things are going to be possible on that front, and I would still, I think, say 50-50 would be where I would be.
So, how will the weather sway them? We've sent them somewhere very cool to vote. It's where Aucklanders go to chill out. An ice bar where everything, including the glasses, is frozen solid.
We have to vote to see if we like the weather in the UK or New Zealand best. 1, 2, 3...
New Zealand! Over the course of the week, the Turners have certainly confronted the reality of life in New Zealand. But before they make their big decision, they have to come to terms with who they leave behind if they move.
We've made a DVD of messages from friends and family for them to watch.
Hello, Matthew and Jean, it's your mum. Hello, Joshua and Charlotte, it's Nana.
Hi Matthew, I applaud your decision to think about moving to New Zealand. I think it's a tremendously brave decision and I hope it all works out for you.
Well, I'm very close to Jean, to be honest. I think we're more like sisters, really, which is quite nice, isn't it? I'm there if she needs me, she's there, you know, if I need her.
Matthew's been an equine vet for as long as I can remember. He really is an exceptional vet, and it would cause us major problems if we lost him. But he would be making a significant contribution to wherever he went.
I'm most proud of him because he's such a good dad. Whatever else he has achieved, he is such a good dad, and that's what I really like about him most.
When he first told me that he was thinking about moving to New Zealand, I'm afraid my selfish thoughts fell in because it's going to be so hard to replace him. But you've got to do what's right. He's my friend. If it's best for him and his family and it's going to make him happy and give him a happier life, then he's got to do it.
I mean, I've done all the way, what I wanted to do all the way through life, so I wouldn't put a stop on whatever their decision was. I'd have to accept it. And I wouldn't say one way or the other to them.
Well, he doesn't want us to go.
They're all so important to you that when they go, that's part of your life going as well. As it was with my husband dying 2 years ago, and if Matthew, Jean and the children go, that will be another big part gone. So it's going to seem a much emptier life than it is now.
I'm just trying to imagine how I'd feel. I'd wish them good luck and best of health and everything else, but I'd try to put a brave face on, and I'd try to hold the tears back, but obviously what I feel like afterwards I wouldn't like to say, but I would try as much as I could to wish them good luck.
I know that you all know already how much I love you, how much you mean to me. Pay no attention to me, I'm just being silly. Enjoy yourselves, have a wonderful life, and we will see each other lots and lots of times, as many times as we can manage.
I think my mum was exactly how I would think she'd feel.
Yeah.
And likewise with your mum.
A bit surprising if it was anything other than, wouldn't it?
Yeah. And the fact, I think, that we have the young children as well is a huge difference. It isn't just us going. It's you two going as well, isn't it? I haven't seen anything there that I wouldn't have expected. I suppose the only slight thing is your mum having a tear in her eye, because your mum is usually very, very in control. So if anything, that's what surprised me more. But my mum's, you know, I know full well that if we decided to move, they'd all be, you know, really, really upset. Certainly my mum would back us, whichever decision we decided to make. She wouldn't hold it against us. She'd be upset, but she would accept it and sort of move on from it, really, and just go with it and come and visit and do it from that point of view.
I mean, saying goodbyes are never nice or easy things, I don't feel. Makes you realise that you would be missed.
It does take a lot of thinking about before you make that final decision, doesn't it? It's not all cut and dried. So we've got a bit of thinking to do.
It's time for the Turners to decide, and Jean and Matthew are very keen to see how the children vote now they've all heard from family back home. So, what's it going to be?
They're back in Auckland, ready to come home as they consider their week.
Right then, the Turner family, the time's come. We've been here for a whole week, looking at New Zealand, how we could live, what sort of houses we could live in, what sort of lifestyle we could have. After 3, 1, 2, 3. UK! Ah, Joshua. Was that both? Why is it both though?
Because I want us to move here and everybody else to move here.
What, all your family?
We'll go back and have a little think, shall we? A little talk. See if either we can convince you or you can convince us.
Yeah.
Well, that's 3 for staying in the UK, while Josh is in 2 minds. How will everybody feel when they've had time to talk back home? Let's see if any other minds have changed.
So, everybody was agreed, apart from Joshua there. Did you ever imagine that this would be the case? There'd be 3 of you saying come back to the UK with little Joshua?
I think I sort of expected Joshua to have feelings both ways and not decide definitely which way to go, whereas I think the rest of us suddenly thought to ourselves a big realisation of actually how far away it was and how long it would take to get back should there be a problem with, you know, family and things like that.
And it was very important for you that you were actually going to be working less than you're working here, but that's not how it turned out, really.
The hours they seem to work at the practice were longer than I work at the moment, which obviously would be a huge negative for me.
OK, you've been back a little while now, so I'm going to ask you for one final vote as to whether you want to stay in the UK or move out to New Zealand. Matthew, I'll give you those.
OK.
Oh, I say, we've got rebellion. Matthew's not stopping. What does that mean?
It means I'm not decided. Half of me thinks that's the answer, because I did love it out there, but equally I don't know as I can leave that just yet on the basis of what I've seen. I think I need to see more. So I can't make a decision, I'm afraid.
Well, Jean, you look very solid with your flag there.
I do feel at some point New Zealand will beckon me to go and have a long stay over there and possibly live.
But for a while yet, it's a long-distance love affair.
Definitely.
I wish you all the luck in the world with your definitely maybe. So a few more trips for the Turner family before a decision is made. But join us again next time when we'll be finding out how another British family got on when they were wanted down under.
A quaint cottage inn